Rawan Althagafy is a former corporate strategist who managed billion-riyal's portfolio before realizing that success without alignment is an empty win, guiding high-performing leaders and women executives across the Gulf into presence, clarity, and emotional mastery.
So when leaders tell me they feel misaligned, I ask one question: who did you protect today? The
Yes.
targets or the person? Your mission lives in that answer. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If yes, share it. Leaders, sometimes they have that challenge that they need solutions, easy techniques, and this is what we provide to them.
Welcome to Reimagining You, where we unpack the stories, strategies, and soul behind powerful personal brands. I'm your host, Dr. Elie Daher, and today we meet someone who doesn't just coach leader. She holds up a mirror to that truth. Rawan Althagafy is a former corporate strategist who managed billion-riyal's portfolio before realizing that success without alignment is an empty win. Today, she is the founder of Elevating Minds & Co., a leadership evolution lab in Riyadh, guiding high-performing leaders and women executives across the Gulf into presence, clarity, and emotional mastery. But what I love the most about Rawan is this. She did not just talk about emotional intelligence. She stood in a hallway one day after delivering a flawless strategy presentation and realized everyone was clapping, but I felt nothing. And I love that. I want to capture that in our talk. That moment changed her. And today, she's helping leaders change how they define success from noise to knowing. Rawan, welcome to Reimagining You.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Rawan, before we start, um, I wanted to really talk about a post that made me actually laugh, and I actually agree with it. I nod in agreement. You said one time, emotional intelligence doesn't mean being nice all the time, because people have the misconception of empathy, being in their shoes, thinking about it, and being nice. Sometimes for you, it means calmly saying, no, thank you, to nonsense without needing a therapy session afterwards. So, this is when I knew you're just not coaching with the heart, you're coaching with precision.
100%.
So, I liked it and I agree with it. So, we're going to dig into the personal branding. This is our journey. And uh, typically, my guests, like yourself, my esteemed guests, share an inspiring story about their journey to inspire the viewers and audience on developing their own personal brand. Each one of my guests have shared some elements in that journey that could be used as ideas, tips, um, advice. So when we go and discuss the some of the TED steps, I would love you to address the audience and the viewers and share a couple of tips and advice. Would be great value to them, and I'm sure you have lots of those.
Sure.
Excellent. So we're going to start with the mission. In every personal branding, you need to start soul searching. You need to have a mission and ambition. Um, Currently, either you're working and you want to grow in your career and you have a mission to reach somewhere, or you like something else that you want to do and you want to pursue it, and that's your ambition. So every leader has a mission, but few stop to ask if it is still their own mission, right? So how did you discover the mission beneath the billion real strategies, and what lessons can leader take when their success feel misaligned?
4 years, I carried mission other people wrote.
Mhm.
My calendar ran my life. Sunrise meetings, midnight debriefs, the work mattered, and I was proud of it. But a quieter moment is what changed me. A
Mm,
teammate was promoted, no raise. The room went quiet because it felt safe. That night, I sat in the car, holding the steering wheels, and thinking about my daughters. If this was their story, what would I teach them?
mm.
Keep the peace or tell the truth? The next morning, I spoke up. My voice was steady. The decision changed. The look on her face told me more about my purpose than my strategic plan had.
Mm.
I realized I'm here to protect the human inside the machine, to make
Okay.
sure results never erase dignity. So when leaders tell me they feel misaligned, I ask one question: who did you protect today? The
Yes.
targets or the
Mhm.
person? Your mission lives in that answer.
Very profound, actually. I like the last bit, which is who do you protect, the targets or the person? And it's a confusing answer because if I reflect back in my corporate days, I'm not sure I have the right answer. It could be, a struggle within a person to really struggle. What is he protecting or she protecting? Is it after the numbers and doesn't care about the human element, or is it about the human element and really the numbers will be the culprit, right? So it's really a very good question to ask, and for our audience and viewers, ask yourself that question and reflect on it. Excellent. So after the mission, so you've defined your mission. What makes you different? Your edge, really, and edge or uniqueness, as I call it in the book, isn't what you do, but it is who you are when the present speaks, right? So, how do you define your edge? What's the one trait of or practice that has made you unforgettable? And how can other uncover their own uniqueness? What do you think?
My edge is calm and storm, not performance, practice. I
Mm,
learned it while pregnant and still leading programs that could not sleep. One evening, I was having contractions and deliverables at the same time. The room was hot with arguments. I put my hands on the table and said, let's breathe for 30 seconds. They smiled at first. Then they tried it. You could feel the floor drop under our feet
mm,
and the noise clear. From there, the answer came. How do you find your edge? Start with what steadies you: breath, prayer, a
okay.
short walk, a note to the person who told you the truth. Train that in small moments so it's there
Mm,
when the room is on fire. Calm is not quiet, calm is leadership.
I love it too. Um, silence has power sometimes, right? So I reflect also on finding my edge because when I entered into this um, journey of leadership and branding and reimagining leadership, my first book, then reimagining you, my second book, I reflected and I said, okay, well, I know what makes me unique, but how do I validate this? I need validation because what you know about yourself might not be what people see you, right? So I went to 7 of my friends and colleagues and I asked them a question. So thinking about Elie Daher, what are the top 3 things that comes to mind in business world? Not on personality. I know I'm happy and smiling or whatever. This is not the question. The question in the business world. what are the first top three things that come to mind if you're gonna think, I have this problem, or I have this issue, or I have this idea. Elie is the right guy. I'm gonna reach out to him and talk to him. And it's funny because from seven people that are close friends, and I believe in their honesty and authenticity in their reply, they gave me top three, right? It's funny that one was across the seven that is really agreeable with all the seven. The second one was 4 out of 7. And the third one was kind of mixed bag. So you can see people perception is different depending on what they experienced working with you. Um, and with some people, you probably shine different colors than the other people. But it gave me, if I put them all together, it gave me 5 good traits that I found this is a uniqueness. And based on that, I just built myself. I validated my own uniqueness, but also agreed with the people that have seen me and maybe worked on some of the ones that I would love to be showing that I'm unique in, but they're not visible outside. So working on your uniqueness is key. And uh, a good feedback to the audience and the viewers is that try this practice. Talk to 5 or 7 of your colleagues and ask them what are the top 3 things that come to mind, because that would give you a good, solid information about yourself that you can build on as you go into your personal journey. What do you think of that?
I agree 100%.
Great, great. I'm going to talk. So we talked about the mission, we talked about the uniqueness. Now, finding your voice as the third item in the phase 1 of personal branding. So, finding your voice, and particularly in this region, and particularly you're a woman. So, in a room where silence feels safer than truth, a lot of people sit in meetings and they nod, but they're not in agreement. They would like to be silent because of maybe different culture in their company that doesn't promote openness, authenticity, psychological safety in meetings. So finding your voice is really an act of courage. So how do you learn to speak the unspoken? And what advice do you give leaders afraid to name what everyone feels and stay silent?
For a long time, I was excellent in being invisible. I thought invisibility was professionalism. Then
Mm,
came the promotion without the raise. That night, I cooked lentil soup for my kids and realized I could not taste anything because I was so angry. That was the night I decided silent will not be my habit. The next
okay.
day, I felt my heart erased, my voice held. People came to my desk later and said, "Thank you. I learned something special. Your voice is a door other people get to walk through." To leaders who are afraid to speak, try this. Write the sentence you are scared to say, remove the decoration, keep the truth, practice it once, then go. Say it with respect. You don't need a speech, you need a sentence.
Love it. Love it. I, I like that promotion without a raise. This is probably common in a lot of corporations. So, what's the benefit of the promotion? It's a tap on the shoulder. Yeah, you've been promoted. There's no benefit of that. I mean, it's a moral benefit, I believe. How did you feel with that promotion without a raise?
Oh my God. So, yeah.
Love it. All right. So now we finished the. So you found your mission, you found your strategy or your uniqueness, you find your voice. You know what you're unique and the pillars that you can claim your authenticity or know-how. And now we go to activation of that, which is your visibility, and that's phase 2 in the whole book. So Activation is really how you project presence, how you be authentic, how you make visibility, you influence, your connections. So we're going to talk a bit about all this. And I'm going to start with presence. Um, so, strategies, you can make a strategy, and with the strategy, the whole series of meetings that come after that. People have put an action plan, people have to communicate the strategy, have to assign it, have governance, have project management, the whole lot. So there's a lot of meetings. That strategy, and I call it strategy wins meetings, right?
Mm,
But what wins trust is presence.
mm.
So presence and being authentic in that presence wins the trust of others. So I want to ask you, what's your ritual or mindset for walking into a room and staying anchored in emotional clarity, no matter how the noise and the stakes are high in that room? How has that evolved for you in staying anchored and calm, as you said, the calm before the storm, and emotional clarity?
Sure.
Hmm.
5 minutes before any big room, I step away from my screen, phone face down. One question to myself: what does this room need today? Ego or empathy? The
Ah,
answer is never ego. There is a corridor I can still see, long, cold. I used to walk in it and repeat three words: listen, simplify, protect. Listen to what is not said. Simplify what feels impossible. Protect the human. That ritual becomes poacher. Leaders can build presence like athletes build muscles. Repetition, pause at the door, breathe. Choose your words like tools. Decide who you are walking in, as before anything decides it for you.
I love that. Listen, simplify, and protect.
Yes.
Can I use that in my next post
Of
on
course.
LinkedIn? I
Sure.
will. I will quote you on that. But I love it. This is good. I had the pleasure to have a podcast with Etna Trainer. I don't know if you know her. Etna is a communication expert, and she does MC for ADIPEC and all the big conference. She's actually in Saudi as we speak in one of the maritime conference, and she's doing the MC for that. But
Mhm.
I remember one thing she told me during the podcast, because we're seeking her advice. I mean, she trains leaders, CEOs on how to communicate, how to put up a speech, how to you own a room, and it was very valuable podcast. I would encourage you to watch it one day. But she said,
I will.
when you enter a room, of course you'll have the fear of the stage. Some people will start sweating, some people the voice is shaking. She said, think about the audience. These guys, these people are there to listen to you. They already subscribe to you. They're there to listen to you, to learn from you, to see what you have to say as knowledge, wisdom, ideas. So give them that. This is your show, and really embrace that moment and feel proud, feel comfortable, feel confident. Don't need to be scared because you have a lot to say. These people have already bought the ticket and sat on the chair to listen to you. So that alleviates, if you start thinking and being in that mindset, I think you'll overcome any fear in these meetings or these rooms. So that's what I wanted to share. Really, presence means trust, and that's key. So well said for you, and well said to Etna.
Thank you.
Um, I want to move on to being authentic. Of course, when we deliver anything in a meeting, always speak the truth, be authentic of what you feel or what you know. Um, I've seen leaders really addressing the team, addressing the crowd in what I think they wanted to hear, not what they feel they wanted to communicate. And this is a common mistake. Um, they don't, they're not authentic. They just want to project the message to really make people feel good. And this is, I guess you agree with me, this is the wrong approach, correct?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, Rawan. So we talked about the presence. We talked about what Etna has communicated to us and what you have mentioned in being in a room. And we talk about a little bit, there's something non-negotiable, which is authenticity. Uh, Always you feel what the message going to be. So rather than addressing the message to people that they wanted to hear, rather than what you actually feel. So that's authenticity. But I want to open now another point on visibility. And here, since you're uh, an expert in emotional intelligence, um, how do you balance between visible as a thought leader, especially as a woman in this region, while keeping your leadership rooted in emotional intelligence rather than ego? You need to balance the emotional aspect, the empathy, the communication, the feeling, and you're in their shoes, your relation, your listening style, rather than being authoritative and being with the ego in leadership.
Long time, I believe the best work, the work no one sees, it feels pure. Then I shared this small post on LinkedIn about
Mm.
bleeding while pregnant, and the message arrived for a woman sitting in her car after a hard meeting. She said, I did not feel alone anymore. That message
Oh,
changed what visibility meant to me. Now I see
nice.
visibility at the service. I share publicly and I mentor quietly. Both are true. For leaders who worry about authenticity, use a simple filter. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If yes, share it. If it's only for applause, keep it.
Nice, nice, well done. And it took me a while to actually convince you to be on my podcast. That's a courageous act of you being from Saudi Arabia and being with a good coach. But that's a courageous act being on my podcast that has close to 500,000 views, and hopefully we're reaching 100,000 subscribers, so your voice going to be amplified across the world. So thank you for being here, thank you for being authentic.
My
I'd
pleasure.
love that. And now that we're talking about communicating across the world, we're going to talk about connections, right? Connections is an art, right? There's a lot of misconceptions about connections and creating relationships, creating connections with people. Some of my guests, and I ask this question all the time to the guest, because actually, thanks to the podcasts and thanks to my guests that I have refined my own understanding of networking and creating meaningful connections. Typically, people go to conferences and or they go to social events. They carry a business card that has a title and a name, and you get introduced to a person. Hello, my name is Elie Daher, and then the person says, "Hello, I'm Rawan Althagafy. What do you do, Rawan?" And Rawan start talking about herself. And what do you do, Elie? And I'd start talking about myself. And what goes on in my mind is, can I sell Rawan something? Can I get a favor from Rawan? Can I invite her to do something for me? So if all these questions did not register, I would say, "Oh, pleasure meeting you, Rawan, and I move out to another person.
Mm.
And that's typically how I've seen a lot of people working the rooms, whether in conference or whether in social events. I was one of those back then, right?
Mm.
Some of the people, my guests, have defined it differently. It says, "Wow, when I ask the question, I always think, what can I help that person?" So instead of me, what can I get from that person? I'll say, well, Rawan does coaching, maybe in emotional intelligence. I'm also certified in emotional intelligence. Why don't we, ask her if she needs any help to grow, if she needs any support, if uh, anything that she would to progress, to grow, to elevate. Um, and then I offer to give back to her, to give before I ask to take. Right. So that struck in my mind, and actually, more I go into the discussions with guests. The last one that is going to be aired on Thursday with Gils. He is the top innovator in the world from Germany, and he defined it differently. But I don't want to steal his thunder. I want the audience to listen to Gil's podcast because he has also redefined what followers on LinkedIn mean, right? For the business. So don't, he's basically motto, do not chase followers, do not chase likes. And then he gave me a good formula and recipe that I'm going to embrace. But coming to you now, Rawan, you have created a brand called Elevating Minds, right?
Yes.
And I think it's not a brand, it's a statement because I think that's what you live it. So, Rawan, what do you think of what I shared? Do you agree?
I totally agree with you. Yes.
Perfect.
And this is exactly what we do in Elevating
Mhm.
Minds.
Perfect. And so, do you want to tell me about Elevating Minds? What is it?
So, Elevating Minds is to elevate your mind as a leader, as a father, as a mother, as a
Oh,
human. When you
mm,
understand how your mind functions, you can achieve your goal professionally, personally, in a very easy way.
nice. Nice mission statement. And so, leaders come to you for what do you do with leaders? I mean, maybe we can explain to the audience and viewers on
Okay.
what is your mission in with leaders? What do you do?
To strategize their goals, the professional and the personal,
Okay.
or they have already their vision because we don't work with the normal goals. We don't work with something that you know how to achieve, you know how to tackle. We work with a vision, with that fantasy that need a plan to execute
Nice.
it. Yes. Um, Leaders sometimes they have that challenge that they need solutions, easy techniques, and this is what we provide to them, easy ways to solve these challenges, because nothing that you can't solve or it's impossible. Nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible, of course.
Yes,
Of course. Nice. I might send your way few customers. I think
with pleasure.
they need to do that. Definitely. Um, Now moving on to with emotional clarity comes also resilience. In fact, I'm going to share something with you. I have crafted the future leader of 2030. What are the top 5 skills for the future leader of 2030, especially with the rise of AI? And I will be delivering a masterclass sometime in November on that. But I said with AI, knowledge workers are challenged, particularly because they have all the data, all the information at fingertips, right? I give you an example of 2 doctors. You have a serious problem, God forbid, and you have no issue with money or travel, and you want the best out of this world in a doctor. So you have Dr. A, Dr. B, And Dr. A has vast experience, similar to Dr. B, the same level. They've seen 500 patients with the same kind of serious issue, and they have treated them. But with AI, now these doctors have access to 50,000 of these patients,
Mm.
data across geography, age group. So, what makes them different? What makes Dr. A and Dr. B now suddenly they were so knowledgeable in their niche? Now, any doctor has access to the same information. What makes them different? So, this is where knowledge economy start to fail. And this is where attention economy start to gain. And we're living today in what we call the hybrid economy. So, what's different between Dr. A and Dr. B is the uniqueness of these doctors. I give an example. So, Dr. A um, will ask you, do you have money? Can you travel? Do you have kids? Are you planning to have kids? How is your work taxing you? How is your quality of life? What is the non negotiable and negotiable? So I can cater for you the right treatment without really affecting your life, but still giving you an effective treatment. Dr. B says, this is the protocol A, B, C, D. We're going to implement this. Guess who I would go to? Dr. A, because he has empathy, he has emotional intelligence, he has creativity on creating the solution, he has a bit of adaptability, adapting to the situation, learning the outcome, embracing the technology. So, emotional intelligence, creativity, adaptability, and resilience comes with adaptability, of course. And I add two more, which is multicultural, specifically for our region here, because we deal with multicultural people, workforce, and social gathering, and multi-generational. Now there is 5 generations working with us, and what has worked first for me, I'm 62, will not work for the young generation. So I have to unlearn to relearn. So that's my view of 2030, the future of leadership. And here, emotional intelligence is key, and elevating minds come a lot into that crafting of the new leaders for 2030. So maybe you can send some customers my way,
Sure,
probably.
sure. Why not?
Yes. So I'll talk about the section of adaptability. It's called resilience. So, what's a difficult lesson you had to learn yourself, personally or professionally, that deepened your leadership wisdom?
Certainty is a nice guest. It's not a reliable roommate. My anchor is a morning ritual. Tea, a quiet corner, one page of journaling that answers single questions. Did I
Wow.
move closer to alignment yesterday or further away? If further away, what is it one small correction today? I built that habit during a season when politics moved like sand and timelines changed by the hour. The page kept me honest and calm. It reminded me that purpose is not a slogan, it's a daily choice. Leaders can start tonight. Write down the person you want to be when things are hard. Keep it in your bag. Read it before the tough room. Let it choose your tone.
Wow. Wow. I love that. Um, I pick up on something on journaling. It's interesting because I've talked to many people and they use daily journaling. I don't. I never picked up that habit. And I like the way you use it because you write in it what you've achieved and what is the progress. And you kind of gauge if it is taking you away from your goal or closeness, and then you act on corrections in the morning and you put it forward, right? This is how I understand you use it.
Mhm.
Very nice. And I think it's very powerful. How do you feel about journaling? Is it working well with you?
It's releasing, it's goal achieving.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. I might learn how to pick up journaling one day. I don't know if I'm too old for it, but that would be good. Growth. Let's talk about growth. So all this is like in phase two, right? Looking at the visibility, the reputation, the presence, the networking or connections, and also going into slightly phase three is sustainability and monetization. So here we're talking sustainability of your brand. So you created a brand which is elevating minds, but actually people know you as Rawan, right? You are the brand, and elevating minds is the channel to take you further. So talking about growth. What does growth look like for you now? Not just in business, but in your own evolution as a founder, coach, and women of influence.
There is a photo in my house. I'm
Okay.
holding new house keys. My eyes look tired and grateful at the same time. Becoming a single mother, it didn't come with a manual. I used to negotiate contracts in the morning and electricity bills in the evening. I learned to give a keynote in the afternoon and fix a uniform button at night. That season softened me, and I stopped confusing strength with hardness. Strength is kindness with a spine. When people ask about telling their story, I said, start small. The day you almost quit, but didn't. The moment you apologize without making an excuse. The mentor who said a sentence used to carry. Put that in your language. Not only the company language, your story is your credential.
Wow. Again, very profound. My last question,
Okay.
and I promise we're gonna wrap it up. If one day your granddaughter reads your LinkedIn bio,
Mm.
what do you hope she sees between the lines?
Okay. Interesting question. When people speak about me, I hope their shoulder drop a little. I hope they say, I feel safe to tell the truth around her. I felt brave enough to try. Leaders built that kind of legacy in small rooms, more than big stages. It is in the follow up text after that hard days, and the apology you make without a lawyer, in the way you give someone credit when no one is watching. Results matter. I care about them, but feelings last longer. Build the moments. People remember. After the slide deck, it's deleted. That's legacy. And I'm sure, like, my daughter will see all my characters as a mom, as a leader, as a sister, as a friend. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Rawan, I really want to thank you for being honest, open, authentic. What you shared today is more than a story. It's actually a recalibration. In a world that worships performance metrics and LinkedIn titles, you reminded us that the real ROI is alignment with self, with purpose, and with people who see beyond the surface. And maybe the most important KPI for leaders isn't quarterly growth. It's how often their team feels seen, safe, and inspired to speak. So now, before we go, I have to mention my favorite quote from you. Ready?
Yeah.
Sometimes emotional intelligence is just not rolling your eyes when you really want to. So it's an interesting quote, and that, my friend, is Olympic level restraint and a lesson every leader should frame on their office wall. Again, thank you for being here, for the wisdom, and for reminding us that the soft stuff is the strong stuff.
Exactly. It's my pleasure. And I really enjoyed talking to you.
Same
And
here.
thanks God that you asked me to come and join your program, your interesting program. Uh, thank you.
It's a pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much, Rawan.
You're
And
welcome.
to our audience and viewers, stay tuned every Thursday, 5 p.m. Dubai time, for another episode with great guests like Rawan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.